Blind people of Reddit, what do you find physically attractive in a partner? My blind cousin had a bit in her vows to her husband about how great his silky long hair felt, so I bet that's a big deal for some blind ladies.
Somebody asked my blind friend if his girlfriend was hot. He pondered for a moment, and replied, "I don't know."
For me, it's about, for lack of better description, textures. How does he feel? Is he firm, fuzzy? Does he mind being touched in such an intense way? Personality is more important, but stressed physical. Edit. I am not 100% blind. I can see outlines of people, bright colors and light. I still can't see the details of your face. I still need a reader. I still need voice to text. I also have a husband who assists me with photos and such. I have not always been blind.
As legally blind, I enjoy voices of people. Helps me remember them better too.
A blind friend of mine really likes big girls. He says that physically having more to explore with your hands is great. I can imagine underweight people feeling pretty poor to the touch.
My preference in order of what I find attractive goes like this. I am not speaking for all blind people, this is my own experience. Personality, voice and body type. Looks don't generally matter to me, and I prefer thicker people. All of these preferences don't have to align right to make someone attractive to me though. Like you can have a slightly less attractive voice and have a kick-ass personality. Basically, when it comes down to what's most important to me is personality. I am not too big on smells, not saying that I am down for someone who smells not good, but a lot of people tend to layer smells, and I am one for the more human smell of people.
Am I the only one who opened this thread expecting the top comment to be about big old tidies?
Personally, physical fitness and hygiene matter most to me. I like a man who's fit and knows how to take care of himself, grooming, cologne, generally well put together. I personally am not a huge fan of facial hair or piercings, but a few of them are fine. Hope that answers your question.
In my whole long life, it has only once happened to me that a woman I didn't know and had never met before asked me to come home with her. Reader, that woman was blind.
Oftentimes, the personality is way more important than the first thing I get to know about a girl. Like, when I talk to a person, I can get a pretty good idea of how they are, and for most people, getting to the point where I'm allowed to feel parts of their body takes some trust, and by that point, we're usually pretty close. So, where most guys would see a girl's physical beauty first before getting to know the rest of them, it's likely opposite for lower vision people like me. Not saying that's good. My other head still tries to find things to fixate on like her voice or scent, but usually I feel like it's a pretty nice upside to the disability. With all that being said, purely physically, I tend to like people with soft, slightly squishy skin the most, though other skin types have a charm of their own. If the hair is soft and feels well taken care of, that's great too, and that applies to most things. It's usually easy to tell if someone takes good care of themselves, both through touch and smell. Speaking of smell, some smells are really attractive. I tend to gravitate towards sweeter, fruity scents, especially of fruits I like mango, strawberry, or orange. I realize now that to most normal people, writing this out makes me sound like a cannibal. I assure you, I don't eat people. At least, not often.
I'm shocked so many blind people are on Reddit. It never crossed my mind that they would use this app or any other social media.
This is a really interesting question, and I believe I can give a quick answer. However, it's not me that is blind, it's my wife, and she has been so since birth. My wife and I have been married for about 20 years now. We are in our mid-40s and she has never experienced a single ray of sun, nor the faces of our children. Although it may sound sad, she is doing just fine since she really can't comprehend what she is missing. The way she experiences something attractive, or sexy, is very different from how I, and I believe you as well, do it. Without making this into a boring novel, let me sum it up real quick. She likes cock, and lots of it.
Not blind, but I have a few blind friends I'm close to. Their general consensus is the feel of the person. If that makes sense. It's a case of physical touch such as the state of your skin, your build and so on. But also stuff like your default tone of voice, and much like anyone they look at the personality.
As a blind man, I like boobies.
My granny never liked men without calluses on their hands. Makes them feel like little girls should say.
To all the people asking about how blind people use Reddit, Please, for the love of God, read the automod comment. It's not that hard.
This is the first AskReddit thread for ages where I thought it might have interesting replies and I'd learn things from a new perspective. But no, it's filled with, how do blind people use Reddit? People with disabilities are still people, they still do things for themselves. Technology has come a long way in making lots of things more accessible, but can't solve ignorance apparently.
Their smile, their eyes, their general health and well-being. You're probably asking about people who are functionally blind, meaning complete darkness. I'm legally blind, which means I have a very small amount of usable vision left.
Ray Charles used to feel women's wrists to determine if they were on the hefty side or not.
Honestly, I assume blind people like the same things as non-blind people. Huge ass for me is a must.
I have to like someone's personality. And I ask my friends if the person is good looking. Yes, blind people do that. I'm short, so I prefer people who are tall.
His voice, smell, and choice in fabrics that he wears. I prefer softer things or microfleece, but that one isn't a huge issue usually.
Speaking as a female, I would make sure his sexual organ was sufficient.
I love butts. And buttholes. They are a massive turn-on for me. I do not know why.
It's amazing how ignorant people are. Lamal be at how see and blind PPL read Reddit.
Her voice, her heart, her touch, the way she talks to me, the way she is responding to me, and she is loving, compassionate, sweet, kind, respectful, and she wants to be my friend. I love how she includes me in activities with our friends, and she is not making light of my blindness. I never felt this kind of love before. Ever.
As someone who was completely blind, I imagine it could be the way they smell, feel, or sound. Maybe a combination. It's amazing how intense those senses become when you're blind.
Well, I'm probably too late, but I'll answer this anyway because I don't see a good answer from a blind person in the top comments. Fully blind since birth, or close enough that it makes no difference. And the first thing is, I don't care about a woman's face. I mean, as long as it isn't wicked scarred or badly burned. I can touch burns and scars, but the proportion of your nose to your chin doesn't make a difference to me. Me and a buddy went to a wax museum, and I touched 100 faces in an hour or two, and realized, yeah, just don't care. I could barely tell the difference between Abraham Lincoln's face and Will Smith's face. I also don't care about the color of a person's skin, or the color of their hair, or their nails, or the makeup because I can't touch those things. What I do care about is the body. I don't know why a body is something I'm interested in when the face leaves me cold. But I understand body shape. And I'm as picky as guys I know who can see. I guess the easiest way of explaining it is, I'll talk to a girl. Voice, super hot. Personality, wicked cool. So I'm excited, but the body is an unknown, unless I'm with some guy friends who I can ask. So this means that I won't actually know if I'm interested until I start dancing with this girl or making out with her, because then I'll know what she looks like. There was a girl I had a huge crush on for maybe 4 months. We finally got together and I realized she had no ass. And that was a disappointment. I should have asked someone first, but I made an assumption. I know this makes me sound shallow, but I'm just trying to answer the question. Clothing can be hot, because of cut though, not because of color. Voices, I guess how people who can see feel about faces. Like I'll make 100 judgments based on how someone talks and what they sound like. But the thing is that the body is always a mystery until it isn't. I will be just as judgy as most guys, it just takes me longer.
Well, with my other senses heightened, it should be noted that certain body scents can be very appealing. So, for me, personally, I'd have to go with their tits.
Not me, but a friend of mine. She likes my penis.
A heartbeat.
May your day be filled with joy and happiness. And please remember to subscribe to Upvote for the best quality content every day.